So in October 2026, the Australian government is rolling out a brand new $4 billion program called Thriving Kids. And if you are an NDIS provider who supports these children under 8 with a developmental delay or autism, some of your current participants may be transitioning out of the NDIS into this new program. Hey guys, I'm Camille DG, nurse with over 20,000 clinical hours in the field, former NDIS provider owner, and now the COO of Physio Shift. I track scheme level changes so I can translate what they actually mean for providers running real businesses. Not policy documents, just plain English. And in this video, I want to walk you through exactly what Thriving Kids is, who it affects, what happens to your existing participants, and what you should be doing right now to be prepared. Because October is closer than it looks, and the providers who plan early won't be scrambling in 18 months. So section 1, what is Thriving Kids? So let's start with what this program actually is. Now, Thriving Kids is a new jointly funded program, $4 billion over 5 years, committed by both federal and state governments. It is the first phase of the broader foundational supports reform that has been in the works as part of the Albanese government's NDIS agenda. So the premise is quite straightforward. There is a large cohort of children aged 8 and under with developmental delay or autism who have low to moderate support needs. Now, these children have been accessing the NDIS, but the argument is that many of them don't need the full NDIS framework. They just need earlier, lighter touch support delivered through local community services. So Thriving Kids is a parallel stream. It's not a replacement for NDIS. It sits alongside it. Now, the higher needs cohort stays on the NDIS, of course. The lower to moderate needs cohort gets redirected into Thriving Kids. That is the design intent. Now, section 2, who does it actually affect? Now, here's the question I know a lot of you are asking. Which of my participants are we talking about, though? The program targets children under 8 and under with developmental delay and or autism who have low to moderate support needs. That is the defined cohort. Now, the children with the higher support needs, of course, I'm talking complex presentations, multiple diagnoses, high support hours are explicitly excluded from the Thriving Kids stream. They stay on NDIS, full stop. So for providers, the participants at risk of transitioning out are the ones in your caseload with less intensive needs. The early intervention clients accessing OT or speech pathology at lower volumes. The kids who got onto the NDIS on the basis of developmental delay, but whose ongoing needs are relatively manageable. So if your practice is built primarily around complex, high needs children, your exposure here is a lot lower. If you serve a broad early intervention caseload, that includes a lot of lower intensity participants, you need to pay close attention to this. And if you're not sure which category your participants fall into, that is the first thing I want you to go and figure out. More on that shortly. So section 3, the timeline. Now let's start talking about the timing, because this is where I see providers make one of two mistakes. They either panic and assume it's all happening tomorrow, or they hear a 2028 update and then they tune out entirely. Neither of this is right. The state-delivered Thriving Kids services begin rolling out on the 1st of October this year, 2026. That is the starting gun. But the program doesn't reach full national scale until about the 1st of January, 2028. So you have a transition window, a multi-year ramp, basically. And what it means in practice is it's not an overnight switch. The sky is not falling, you guys, but the direction of travel is definitely clear and it's locked in. The providers who treat this as background noise until late 2027 will probably find themselves making a lot of reactive decisions in a market that's already shifted. Now it's time to map your exposure now, not in October. Section 4, services does Thriving Kids actually include? So what does Thriving Kids actually offer? Because this matters for how you position your practice, right? The targeted supports under Thriving Kids include developmental therapies. We're talking OT, occupational therapy, speech path, speech pathology, physiotherapy, audiology, and low-cost AT aids or equipment where needed. Does that sound familiar? It should. These are the exact same therapy supports that many NDIS early intervention participants currently access under their plans anyway. Here is the important nuance for providers, though. Thriving Kids may become the new funding stream for delivering these services to the lower needs cohort. But the delivery mechanism, arrangements, and the way services are commissioned under the Thriving Kids will differ from the current NDIS funding. The details on that are still being worked through at the state level. So if you're an allied health practice owner, an early intervention provider, or a pediatric support coordinator, this space, the services you deliver are squarely in scope. The question is what funding stream you are delivering them under and whether your business model needs to adapt. So in section 5, we'll talk about what happens to your current NDIS participants. Now, this is the question everyone actually wants answers to. If I have children under 8 on my current caseload, what happens to them? Now, here is what I want you to know. Children aged 8 and under who are enrolled in the NDIS before the 1st of January 2028 will not be automatically removed from the scheme. They will be subject to reassessment under an eligibility criteria that were in place at the time of their enrollment. So that is an important protection. Reassessment and found to have higher support needs will stay under the NDIS. Children with low to moderate needs may transition to Thriving Kids. What we do not yet have full details on is the exact reassessment process, when it happens for each participant, how it's going to be triggered, and what the decision framework looks like at all. The NDIS Commission and the Department of Health will publish updated guidance as the program matures. That is the place to watch, and I'll probably update you guys on that. So what I would do is assume your current participants are safe. What I would not do is assume that everyone is safe and then just stop thinking about it. So the direction is quite clear. The reassessment will happen. The question is how your current caseload looks like on the other side of that. In section 6, we're going to talk about how to prepare. This is what separates the providers who are ready from the ones who actually are not. So let's talk about what you actually do with this information. First thing, map your participant profile right now. Go through your current caseload and identify every NDIS participant who is aged under 8 and under with developmental delay or autism. How many are there? What does their support intensity look like? Are they low to moderate needs, or are they in the complex to high needs cohort? So that gives you a number, your potential exposure, and you cannot plan without it. Second, stay close to the guidance as it comes out. The reassessment process will be detailed progressively. The NDIS's commission and the Department of Health. And I'll also be tracking this and publishing updates as more details drop. So, which I'll get to in a second. Third, review your intake pipeline. If a portion of your current participant base may transition to Thriving Kids, your future intake cannot simply be a copy of what it is today. Are you positioned to deliver under Thriving Kids funding arrangements? Or is your current business model focused on the higher needs NDIS cohort that's going to stay under the NDIS scheme? These are strategy questions, and the providers who answer them now will be in a completely different position to the ones who answer them in October 2027. And fourth, do not panic. Just plan. You have time, but the window to plan calmly is now, not when reassessment notices start landing in your inbox. That is the operational truth here. The providers who run lean, who have visibility into their participant mix, who can adapt their intake and their delivery model without 6 months of internal chaos, are the ones that are going to navigate everything fine. The ones who are running on instinct and spreadsheets and hope they'll be okay, they'll probably find this quite hard. So I'm going to keep tracking the Thriving Kids rollout as it all develops and post more details on the reassessment process, what Thriving Kids delivery actually looks like for providers, and I'll be publishing them here on my channel. So subscribe so that you don't miss out on those. This is an evolving situation and the details do matter. And if you are looking at changes in your participant mix and thinking about how to keep your operations tight as you adapt, that is exactly what Spacia Shift is built for. When your caseload shifts, you need full visibility into what that means for your staffing, your rostering, your margins. Wait, how much are you actually paying for each admin staff member? Between 75, 80K a year? What if I told you don't need them anymore? Or you can cut your admin team by just one staff member. Some of you have 4 or 5. Put the link in the description, put it into your browser and see if you guys qualify for our 14-day free trial. You get full human support throughout. You might even get me on the call. And also drop a comment below. Tell me whether you serve these beautiful kids, what your current caseload looks like right now. And this changes how you are thinking about the next 12 months. I read every single comment and I'll give you a straight answer. So if this video was useful, share it with another provider in the early intervention or pediatric space, because the more of us who understand what's actually coming for us and plan ahead, the better the outcomes are going to be for these beautiful kids that we all serve. Till the next video, Camille DG signing out, and I'll see you then.